Hey guys, glad you're back. I want to jump right in today. I want you to hit the comments right now and answer this question. What do you do? What do you sell? Or better yet, what does your company do or what does your company sell? Now, I'm asking this question because we're going to take a deep dive into this on today's show. And I'm willing to bet that by the end, you may talk about what you do or what you sell a little bit differently than you did coming in. And if you do, there are some really positive outcomes on the other side of that for you. So do me a favor, hit the comments, let me know what your business does or sells. All right. This topic hit me because I'm meeting a lot of people these days. I know. We're in the middle of COVID, right? So we're not meeting in person. There are no events, there are no conferences. But it seems that everybody's starting to figure out this whole virtual thing, right? And I'm sure a lot of you have been on the other side of some of these virtual events where you show up, there's a big room of people, but then you get thrust into a side room and all of a sudden you're on camera with somebody you've never met, you don't know anything about, and it's just you two, right? So you have no other choice than to jump into a conversation. I've come to really enjoy those meetings because I'm meeting some folks that I would have otherwise never met. Inevitably, the conversation always rolls to, yeah, so tell me about what you do or tell me about your business, right? And over the years, I've developed a knack for really listening to the language people use, right? Listening to the words they use. And when I think about it, I guess it started up in Indianapolis with when I worked with a man named Jerry. And he owned a business called Collidia. They were an innovation firm, and they spent a lot of time working with companies on new product development. And Jerry had such a unique knack of asking the right question to get people thinking differently. And one of the questions he often asked was, well, what business are you in? Or what do you sell? And it would always shock me that people would always have an answer, but just how incomplete or how lacking that answer often was. And that's what I want to dig into today because I'm seeing a lot of the same thing. And I think we're losing opportunities. I think we're losing opportunities to make more money. I think we're losing opportunities to grow our businesses. And I think we're losing opportunities to get more of what we want. I think we're forcing ourselves to work harder than we have to work, right? And there's simple tweaks we can make in the way we talk about what we do or the way we see our own businesses, right? So I'm willing to bet a lot of you have this issue. You know how to talk about your business, but are you answering the right question, right? So when I meet people, they'll tell me about the product or the service or whatever it is they do, and they'll go on and on about it. And I find myself, in my head trying to figure out, well, how can I use this? Or how does this benefit me? Or what opportunities are there? You see, they're putting the burden on me, the listener, to figure out how to spend money with them or how to partner with them or how to do something creative or profitable with them. Right? And I think a lot of us do that. We naturally talk about what we do and how we do it, and we leave it to the audience to figure out what that means to them or what it should mean to them. And today I really want to dig into two ways it's hurting your business, right? So today the topic is, what are you selling, really? So the first way is fairly obvious. I think it hurts your business because it's just costing you money. It's flat out costing you money. When you put the burden on other people to figure out how to use your service, to figure out why it should be important to them, to figure out why it's worth the investment, to figure out what it is you're really selling, right? It's just too hard. People want to work with you. But if you make me work that hard to figure out how, chances are I'm just going to move on to somebody that makes it easier. Right? And the way that happens, I think there's a disconnection. There's a disconnect between what you're selling, what you're talking about, and what people are actually buying. Right? So I know in the example, I know I gave an example in the email with shower heads. Here's another one that you're probably really familiar with. Right? Just about all of us take pictures with our phones. Right? And if you pay attention to any of Apple's commercials, especially the ones highlighting the camera on your phone, think about what they're doing there. They don't talk about the tech specs. They don't talk about all the different things that the camera can do. They don't spend a lot of time telling you how the camera's set up or built to do what it can do. No, you see couples in love, you see couples sightseeing, you see couples taking all kinds of pictures, you see families taking photos, families capturing memories, because that's what people care about. Right? My wife bought a brand new phone a while back because she wanted a better camera. Not for the sake of having a better camera, but she values taking photos of our family. She values catching memories of the kids growing up. And she thought a better camera would position her to do that. Well, that's what Apple is selling. They're not selling a camera. They're selling the photos. They're selling the memories. They're selling the experiences. And they fully understand how to talk about that in a way that drives right to the root of making us all spend an absurd amount of money on a new phone when the one we have does everything we need it to do, right? So that's what I mean. If Apple instead focused on how many lenses are on the phone, or the pixelation, or how fast it can take photos, or how many photos it can take in a period of time, or any of the other features, that'd be well and good, and we would have to figure out what it means for us. But they don't do that. They drive straight to the heart of, why do you care? Why do you want a better camera, right? It's for the kids, it's for the photos, it's for the memories, right? So I think a lot of us miss that mark, right? We spend our time talking about what we do, talking about the service, talking about the product, and we don't talk about the benefit to the end user. And when we miss that mark, we're losing customers, we're losing opportunities, we're losing leads and sales calls, right? We're losing the ability to close more business, right? It's just costing us money. And so that's the obvious one. But there's another one that's really important, and it may be an even bigger opportunity. Right? And I think the second one is that it keeps us small. When we don't fully understand what we're selling or what business we're in, it keeps us small and it limits our possibilities. And what do I mean by that? Depending on how you define your company, depending on the words you use and the vision you have, it's going to kind of box in what you can do, what kind of partnerships you're looking for, what kind of clients and opportunities you're looking for, right? And sometimes it's not that the company has to drastically change, but the way we see our own company, our own business, our own team is what needs to change. And I'll give you an example. So we had a client that was in the blade and clipper business, right? So they produced products that helped people that groomed pets cut nails, cut fur, groom animals. And if you ask them what business they were in, they would tell you, oh, we're a blade and clipper company. We're in the blade and clipper business, right? And their stuff was excellent. It was sharp, it was precise, it was top of the line, it was great. Right? But they got to a point in the business where they pretty much owned that market and they wanted to expand. So when they began exploring, well, how do we expand our company? How do we grow our product lines? Right? It's natural for them to think of, well, how do we improve blades? How do we improve clippers? Right? But think about how short-sighted that is. So we actually did the research. We spent some time kind of watching people groom animals, watching how people use their products, and looked for opportunities to make them better, to expand the product line. And unfortunately, it's a situation where there really wasn't anywhere to go. They were already on top. They were already winning. They were doing everything they could. And when you watched somebody groom an animal, you realize that the part we're talking about was only a small part of that entire process, right? So it wasn't even it's not like the people doing this work had their products in their hand 100% of the time, right? But that's where the opportunity lied, and they didn't know it. So when I talk about changing the way we talk about our company, right? This company saw themselves as a blade and clipper company. What we saw was that they were a company who had top of the line products that made pet grooming faster, more efficient, and easier, right? And with that definition, right, think about how different it looks. I'm a blade and clipper company, or I am a company that produces pet products that make the grooming process faster, more efficient, and easier, right? You see, this company adopted this new definition, and when they did, they exploded, because no longer were they focused on only blades and clippers, but they got into brushes, right? They got into all kinds of different products that made up the entirety of the pet grooming process. And where you used to be able to find them in pet stores on a small portion of the grooming shelf, now you would see that brand up and down the shelf, right? Or up and down the aisle, right? They own entire aisles now because they're no longer a blade and clipper company, but they took what they were great at with blades and clippers and said, let's look at what people are buying. People buy our blades and our clippers because they're high quality, because it helps them do the job easier and it helps them do what they do better. Well, why do we have to stop at blades and clippers? Why can't we do brushes? Why can't we do other things? You see, this kind of expansion opportunity is out there for you guys too. If we get away from what we sell and we really connect with what people are buying, why they're buying it, what's the benefit to them, right? I put it simply, why should I care, right? You could tell me you're a real estate agent, but why should I care? Right? You could tell me you're a marketing company, but why should I care? You could tell me you're an auto detailer, but why should I care? Right? You've got to make it mean something to me. So that's the challenge today. That's really what I wanted to what I want to challenge you to do is think about the way you talk about your company. Try to step outside of yourself and listen to the words you're using the next time somebody asks you what you do. Right? Do you start with the what, or do you start with what it is for them? Use me for example. Right? I could tell you guys that I'm a professional coach. Right? I could tell you that I'm a business coach. I could tell you all the stuff that's involved in coaching, or I can tell you that I help my clients make more money. Right? I help them reach the goals they've been chasing but haven't quite been able to accomplish. I could tell you that I help them scale faster, figure out interoffice politics, right? Dig through the challenges in their business that allow them to get to market faster. Right? I can tell you that I help my clients be happier at work and at home. See, all these are the reasons people invest in coaching, right? It's not about what coaching is or how I do what I do or the frameworks or the skills or the exercise or the experience. I can talk about all that. But at the end of the day, people pay me because they want to make more money. People pay me because they want to spend less time at work and more time at home while making more money, right? People pay me because they want to do more in their business. They want to take their business to the next level. See, that's where my conversations have to live. If it's about the intricacies of coaching, that just misses the mark, right? I've got all that stuff, and all that stuff is a part of the process. But that shouldn't dominate the sales conversation. So I want to challenge each and every one of you to go back and think about your business, think about how you talk about your business, and see where you can improve. See how you can take the burden off of the people you're talking to and put it on yourself. Tell them why they should invest in you. Tell them why they should spend money with you, and make that the starting point. Right? So that's today's challenge. So I'm going to ask you to do something. I would love, if you already have some new things floating around in your mind, I'd love to see you get back in the comments. If you've changed the way you're talking about your business or thinking about your business in these last 12 or 13 minutes, jump in the comments. Tell me what's changed. Tell me what's evolved. Right? And if you find yourself stuck, I've put together a little something to help you out. So I've put together a worksheet that is 4 steps to figuring out what you're really selling. Right? So it lays out step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. I walk you through 4 prompts. It is a quick exercise designed to just open up the way you think about your own business. Sometimes we're too close to what we're doing to think about things differently. Sometimes we've been doing it too long. So I've built this worksheet with some prompts to help you do that. So I'll put the link down in the comments. Go download the worksheet, check it out, work through it, and then let me know what you come up with. Right? Shoot me an email at daryl@darylsweeney.com. Check out my website. And while you're there, make sure you're subscribed so you're getting my weekly emails, right? They'll always tell you what the topic is going to be. They'll give you links to check up on past shows and past events. It'll also talk about an upcoming course that I'm putting together on, called 1 month, 1 month, 1 goal, right? So the idea is that you are going to go from where you are now to accomplishing a goal over the next 30 days, right? Something that can move your business forward, something that matters. Again, I'm not getting into the weeds. I'm telling you that, hey, there's some goals out there that have been seen on a back burner for far too long that I know you want to achieve. And this course I'm building is going to help you do just that, right? So let's figure out what our audience is really buying, what our prospects are really buying, and then let's sell them that. See you guys next week.